Well, we just love the fact that, I think that people have talked about doing these kind of shows a lot where you do a world within a world. And what we're hoping is that both worlds feel real and great and suspenseful. And mostly we're just hoping that people want to go along for the ride. We want it to be enjoyable and entertaining as well as scary. And we're just hoping that people come and invest and feel like they're almost watching two shows within one and that they play off each other correctly. That's a great question. Normally when you're breaking a complicated series, you have one show that you're trying to make sure everything adds up. What's fun about this is we have to make sure both shows add up, and we want the inside show to tell a whole story as well. As it does in the pilot, there's beats to that story that hopefully feel like they end and drive you to the next episode, and for us, every episode is to feel like that. Both shows play off each other, but on the fun side, it really gives us an opportunity to really do a lot of clues from the inside show to the outside show, or thematic parallels from the inside to the outside. But our goal is to actually break two full series of stories, one for both, but they actually feel like they're all part of the same show if we do it right.
The writer of the show is obviously a big part of his team. Are we going to learn?
Yes, he is definitely a character that will be revealed as we go further. Right now, he's an enigmatic figure, and he definitely plays a role in it, as you could most likely guess from his name is featured and he's discussed. But he plays into a larger part of the mythology of the series, so he definitely will play a factor in it, but it will be maybe not right away, but we'll see how he plays in. Right now, he's very elusive, much like the series creator Rockne Sovanen when you talk to him.
Which is always fan situations or fan bases or whatever, by more answers than
Well, I think between the shows Rockne has worked on and the shows that at Fake Empire we've done, they've inspired a terrific group of fans that follow the shows and talk about the shows. And in our minds, we just thought, what if those communities, which are all great, what if it was to go awry, and what if it was to be somebody nefarious that was leading those communities? So for us, I think we're hoping to draw as wide a fan base as we possibly can. People that would have watched Chuck, people that would have watched Farscape, people that would have watched anything in between. But I think it was inspired a little bit by everyone sort of realizing that, wow, the fans play a major part in the fact that they can be organized and have conversations about the shows. That's something that we think is a huge part of why we make these shows right now. To be able to see online and the way people talk and react to them, and that's where we thought it'd be fun to make a show that actually incorporated those elements into the actual show itself.
How much are you going to explore the celebrity that often comes along with violent characters, like a serial killer or a cult leader?
I think that in this type of thing, what we're going to do is actually explore both sides of it. We're going to get to see the character of Billy Grimm, and then we're going to get to see the actor who plays him, which Rob Knepper is obviously playing both. And I think through that and through some of the cast of the show, Lona Tall's character also, we'll see her as the actress. We're going to get to sort of see the influence that they have and how they're reacting to it. I think it's certainly a part of it, but I think it's something that's going to have to grow a little bit as it goes along, and we find out what the fans of the show are really up to. So it's something we will deal with, but I think as the show goes on, we'll be dealing with it a little more. It basically came from a little bit of the shows that we've all been involved with have very loyal and outspoken fan bases. And part of what we were thinking of is social media now dominates the television landscape right now, and it's so important to have a show that has a presence there. We thought it would be an interesting idea. Obviously, the creative is the most important thing. The content of the show is the most important thing, but we thought if there was a way to actually incorporate the passion of fans into the show, that it would be fun for people to watch a show about people watching a show. And the fact that the CW has allowed us to have the inside show airing on the CW, we felt was something that would be fun. Basically, we want it to be thrilling and entertaining, but we want it to be a ride and something that people really enjoy watching every week as well.
What was it that you did some of and I always thought that Chuck was one of the best written ensemble shows, and they have to be really about one person.
Right.
So was it any? Tell us a little bit about bringing this cast together.
Sure. I mean, for us, it's obviously the most important thing. We knew the concept was intriguing, but you have to want to follow everybody every week and be intrigued by them. Rob Knepper is somebody who we've admired his work. We've seen him do comedy, we've seen him do scary, and for the role of Billy Grimm and the role of the actor he plays, he's going to have to do everything. And we love the idea of Rob, because comes in and dominates what he's in. He's grounded and he's larger than life at the same time. The pairing of Matt and Jessica we thought was great. They're two people that I think are known to their audiences. You know, Matt coming off of Vampire Diaries. We like the idea he was coming off of a CW show, but we think they're terrific. And Alona was somebody, even going back to Veronica Mars, that we thought, wow, it would be great to see her in this type of show. And she just gives you both sides. She'll give you, I think, the tough cop that we see in the Inside show, and then I think she gives you sort of some great vulnerability in the actress that we see in the Outside show. So for us, it was a dream cast, and if we knew at the beginning we would end up with these four as our series regulars, we would have been delighted. So it turned out great for us. Yeah, well, right now, you know, before you go into anything like this, I think we basically have, the way we want it to work is that each season sort of serves as a chapter and as a journey. We want each season to be a very satisfying season, and the fact that we're doing 13 episodes really helps that. So every episode is going to be jam-packed with stuff. We don't have to hold back. So right away, even as recent as the second episode, we dive right in, and we want to keep going. Hopefully, the more seasons we can do, Rockne has 4 seasons in advance planned in terms of how he wants to tell those stories. So part of the fun of, or the advantage of Rockne having written the script many years ago is we've had a lot of time to think about how we want this to be done. So we're not jumping in saying, uh-oh, what happens next? We know. And then, but we're also, you know, excited to sort of roll as reactions come in and we see where everybody takes us and where the cast takes us. But each season will hopefully feel like a whole entity to itself that leads into the next season, which will capitalize on that. Yes, part of our discussions with the network early on was being able to do it on the cable model. We feel that audiences right now, myself for sure, you want to see 13 in a row. You really now, with cable, content or no content, it's great to be able to watch those episodes and invest in them. And even if you have to wait a while for them to come back, you're not waiting a while between episodes. And that's critical for a show like this. That's where all your momentum goes away. It happens sometime around the holiday time. January happens, and on a first-year show, people remember they had other things to do. So for us, we love the idea of doing 13. We want it to be 13 every single time, and that's part of how what was great about the CW basically saying that's what we want too. We want to really have something to drive the audience together. So that was part of our initial discussions before we ever signed up to do the show.
That was how we really need to have the actual fans interacting with the show and to try to do some social media things. Is that something that you guys are thinking maybe to do?
It's a big plan. I mean, it all plays into, I think, part of the fun of the show, and what we can do naturally, which again is why we all really responded to the premise of it. The network is very excited about the marketing of it, because rarely do you have a show that feels natural the way you can market it. Right now for us on the content side, the content is 50% and the marketing is 50%. You've got to get out there, you've got to get noticed, you got to get people in the door. It's an incredibly competitive landscape, and for us, doing this kind of show that stands out is really the key. It's the only type of shows for us that we feel like we can really do and get people in the door. So we plan a lot of interactions, things that feel natural for the show, but nothing ultimately that takes away from where we want to go with the content of it. We don't want to ever feel like we're doing too much on the other side, that it takes away the content. The content has to drive it, and everything else hopefully will come along as a natural part of that. Yeah, that's very, very important to us. It always has to feel like when you're watching it, we want you to look around a little bit and say, what's going on here? We feel like after all these years of watching television, we love the idea that maybe television is watching you. And that's sort of, I think right now, it feels like between the way we interact online and how people know a lot about us from our marketing and what we do and what we buy, we love the idea that, wait a minute, what if our television is gathering information about us? And we just thought it'd be fun for people to suddenly go, wait a minute, how do they know that, and all that. So if we do it right, it'll have that suspense vibe throughout, but it will hopefully never take itself too seriously to the point of stopping the fun of it, but it will be suspenseful enough that every week that will give people something to come back to.
I was thinking about that you got these two stories, and of course you do want to keep them separate, and I'm trying to imagine if there's every time where you want to kind of cross them. I mean,
well, in a way, it kind of does naturally, because you have the inside show, the outside show, and then you have the actors give the show interacting with our protagonists as well. So you'll see Jeff and Sky interacting with the actors. So in a way, it gives a third dimension to it that you're starting to again wonder, are the actors tools somehow of the show, or are they innocent bystanders, or a combination of both? So we love to have our cake and eat it that way if we can find a natural way to do it, but there's that third pocket of interaction where we do feel those worlds will merge, and again, if we do it right, just like they visit a spot in the show, you saw the creepy shed in the pilot, then Jeff and Sky meet for the first time in that exact set. We want to continue to explore certain ways that locations and things are used in the show that may be used by the real life cult itself.